been a professional for less than a month, so is it reasonable to assume that she should be on the Olympic team?
Reality is coming.
Okay.
I don't think Caitlin Clark's one of the 12 best players right now.
Yeah, I think it would be a great opportunity. A lot of ifs.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone an entire week without making an update on the WNBA. But the interesting part about this story is there is consistently a brand new form of pettiness that we get to cover each and every single week. But before we get to the content, we are on the grind to 1 million subscribers. I'm trying to figure out something to give away to celebrate the accomplishment, so let me know in the comment section down below what we should do. Make sure you sub and turn on our notifications to help us get there. And now that we get all of that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Carl Jung once said that a man's greatest vice is lust, whereas a woman's greatest vice is jealousy. And nothing has been more evident than in this saga surrounding Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. From the very beginning, as she was entering the WNBA, Diana Taurasi, who is considered to be the Tom Brady of the WNBA, primarily because of her longevity and her contributions to the sport, didn't necessarily hype her up. As a matter of fact, he kind of did the opposite.
Right? When the college guys come out, they're waiting for him. I mean, Camilla's coming, Caitlin's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
You know, there's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you know, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
There's so many angles that we could take this to, including comparing Diana Taurasi, who, by the way, just made the Olympic team, to Caitlin Clark's statistics, which, by the way, they're pretty much identical, only Caitlin Clark is in her first year in the WNBA, and Diana Taurasi has been in the WNBA for 20 years. It's actually her birthday today. Happy birthday, Diana. But that aside, in previous uploads in regards to the WNBA, we were comparing Caitlin Clark to Victor Wembanyama in terms of the amount of earning potential they receive. And it's no question, Victor Wembanyama gets a significantly higher rookie scale contract than Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin Clark did something unprecedented following that. She got a $28 million Nike shoe deal. She's getting other WNBA players some benefits as well. Now, WNBA players are taking chartered flights. Asia Wilson just signed a deal with Gatorade. WNBA players are actually starting to eat, and people are watching the WNBA. Everybody's eating. It's not just Caitlin Clark. But the true insanity of this is the fact that WNBA players hate Caitlin Clark. And when you compare the way the WNBA is talking about Caitlin Clark versus the way NBA players were talking about Victor Wembanyama even before he entered the league, there's no comparison.
For sure, a generational talent.
The league's really in trouble when he comes in. And I want to see how it plays out.
He's incredible, man. Like, I believe in 2045, everybody is gonna look like Victor.
And that's where the true absurdity of the situation begins. It's the fact that the NBA hypes up its players each and every single year when there is a good draft class, when there is a player that could be the next coming of LeBron James. There's a reason why that joke exists. And I even had my own questions about Victor Wembanyama. I was worried about his ability to stay healthy because of his stature and his size. I was getting kind of annoyed over how much he was getting overhyped by the media. But I have to admit, Wemby definitely lived up to the hype, and we were about to see some truly remarkable basketball from him. But at the end of the day, at a very fundamental level, NBA stars are going to be hyping up the next wave, the next big player, the next big prospect. It's what causes more fans to tune in. It's what causes the NBA to sign bigger revenue deals, and as a result, NBA players are getting bigger and bigger contracts each and every year. By the time Victor Wembanyama's rookie scale contract expires, he might be eligible for a contract that pays him $100 million a year annually, which is absolutely insane. But that aside, you're not seeing NBA players say,
wow, Victor Wembanyama played on Mets 92. Mets 92 isn't even around anymore. He sucks at basketball because he was playing against lesser competition.
All they did was hype him up and say that they're terrified of when he comes to the league. But you're never gonna go to your opponent and say,
this guy is trash, I'm gonna kick his ass pass easily because he's trash.
You're gonna say,
this man's accomplished so much, but I am better than him.
but you're also gonna hype up your opponent so it's an achievement if you do defeat him. Or it doesn't look as bad when you lose because you lost to a worthy opponent. So discrediting Caitlin Clark's achievements is already a bad look considering all that she's done for the league. But it gets so much worse. In our previous videos, we discussed Kennedy Carter's attack on Caitlin Clark. It happened out of nowhere and Angel Reese absolutely loved it. Kennedy Carter would then go onto social media and say that Caitlin Clark doesn't do anything but shoot. But probably my favorite part about this entire exchange was when Angel Reese was asked about the situation. And you could see as clear as day why Angel Reese doesn't like Caitlin Clark. And it goes all the way back to you.
All started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
I think it's so funny to watch this all go down, and it's gotten to a point of pettiness that could really handicap the WNBA. I mean, don't get me wrong, people care about the WNBA. More people watched the NCAA Women's National Championship game last year than the Men's National Championship game last year, which is absolutely insane, and I honestly didn't think we'd ever get to a point where it was like this, but it was. And a huge part of that was Caitlin Clark. Well, Caitlin Clark was invited to Team USA's training camp, but they left her off of the Olympic team. There are multiple reasons for this, and here's one of them according to the legendary Dan Patrick.
I don't think Caitlin Clark's one of the 12 best players right now. Now, if you want to have popularity, she's number one, and it's not even close. Team USA is dominating. They will dominate again. They always dominate. It's a given. They're going to win the gold medal. Do you want to have Caitlin Clark on the roster? And if you do, who are you taking off? And how do you tell that person, hey, we want to have the popular girl on?
Now, I understand, Dan, that she is not one of the 12 best players, and hardcore WNBA purists might say,
Mike, Arike Ogunbowale deserved to be on Team USA more than Caitlin Clark.
But Arike Ogunbowale is trying to play for the Nigeria basketball team. She definitely deserves to be on the USA basketball team. She's absolutely cooking this year, averaging 27 points, 5 assists, and 4.2 rebounds a game. She's averaging 3 steals a game. That's insane. But she wants to play for the Nigeria basketball team. She literally turned down Team USA to represent Nigeria. So that aside, you might be wondering, why wasn't Caitlin Clark invited? Well, there are multiple reasons. The first one is absolute insanity. According to USA Today, via 3 unnamed sources, Clark's submission from the team was due in part to concern over how Clark's millions of fans would react to what would likely be limited playing time on a stacked roster. Ladies and gentlemen, the concept of having a young NBA prospect that has virtually no professional experience on Team USA isn't new at all. Christian Laettner, who was considered to be the next big prospect in the NBA at the time, coming out of Duke University, played on the Dream Team alongside Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and one of the top 3 scorers of all time, Karl Malone. In 2004, Emeka Okafor played on one of the worst Team USA rosters of all time, and this is before he played a single game for the Charlotte Bobcats. And then in 2012, Anthony Davis played on Team USA as well before he played a single game for the New Orleans Hornets. My point being that this isn't a relatively new concept, and you don't need to be one of the 12 best players in the WNBA, but even if that is the case, bear in mind, Caitlin Clark is having a more statistically dominant season than Diana Taurasi is, who has 5 Olympic gold medals. Why do you need a 6th? You're 42 years old. Pass the torch on and try to hype up the next generation of talent. Now, thankfully, there's a more realistic reason as to why Caitlin Clark wasn't invited to Team USA. And this is probably the real reason. It has nothing to do with her fans being upset with her lack of playing time. If anything, that's a good thing, because those fans would at least tune in for the chance to watch Caitlin Clark. Maybe they watch Caitlin Clark and realize that the WNBA has a plethora of talent, and they become fans of other players. I mean, I know personally, I found a brand new player that I'm in love with, and it's Kalia Cooper. How can you not be a fan of a woman like this?
What does the bench have to do?
Yes.
What did you?
I was saying that the bench didn't give a lot of production today in this game here. What do they got to do to help you all out as what they did in the previous game?
What they got to do? What they do last game? That's a real question. You for real?
No, what I'm asking, just really trying to get an idea of what they need to do.
So what the bench do the last game?
They actually played well. They played
Bet.
well.
So what they do this game?
Today they didn't do well this game.
Okay, so what they got to do? Score, right?
Yep.
All right, bet. That's it, right?
Yep.
Bro, these WNBA press conferences are so funny. I don't know where I've been. I've been sleeping on the WNBA media because there's so much pettiness and so much sassiness, and it's so entertaining each and every time. I mean, you remember when they asked Kennedy Carter why she did what she did to Caitlin Clark, and this was her reaction?
Yeah. After the FIBA
I
score,
didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough.
I would not have discovered these players if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark's involvement. I was calling Kennedy Carter Chennedy Carter in my last video. I'm serious, but I digress. The real reason Caitlin Clark probably didn't get invited to Team USA is because WNBA stars don't want to play with Caitlin Clark in the Paris Olympics. New levels of petty. I hope they understand they're squandering an opportunity to promote the league and in turn potentially lose money in the future. So I hope it's worth it. Now, in response to the report that I mentioned yesterday over the limited playing time, this additional report says a few days ago, Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter took shots at Clark, pointing out that she's not the reason why the WNBA is so popular. Now the league superstars could think the same. If true, that would be an extraordinary admission of the tension that this multi-million-dollar sensation, who signs autographs for dozens of children before and after every game, has caused for the old guard of women's basketball. The two people spoke on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the matter. It's absolutely hysterical. I could understand being jealous of the fact that people care about the WNBA because of this woman, especially when you're probably closer to retirement than the beginning of your career like Diana Taurasi. And it's hilarious seeing people trying to rationalize Caitlin Clark's popularity. I mean, they literally said it was because she was pretty and white on The View.
I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. Part of it is about race. Caitlin Clark is bringing this money, these sponsorships, we hope, into the league, and other players will benefit from it. But I do think that she is more relatable to more people because she's white.
Which, look, man, I don't really take Caitlin Clark's appearance into factor here. Maybe some people think she's beautiful, maybe some people don't think she's beautiful. Personally, it's not something I thought of when I watched Caitlin Clark play basketball. The real reason I love her is because of plays like this. You see this defender pressuring her? She doesn't complain, she gets the ball, gets into a little flex set, and then she cuts very hard, screens, curls, loses her defender in the mess, and takes one of the cleanest jumpers you've ever seen for three. That's why I love Caitlin Clark. Her jump shot looks smooth as silk. And I think my favorite part about this is the way she's handling it. Her interviews are so professional and she never buys into the pettiness. I mean, look at this interview when she found out that she didn't get into Team USA.
Excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, you know, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics. So, yeah, it'll be fun to watch them. And then we all know how talented that team is. Like, you look at that roster, and a lot of players I've already had the opportunity to play in this league that are just so good. And, you know, I know they're going to go out there and dominate, and I'm going to be watching and cheering for them. So
she showed love to the people that don't like her, and probably the best part is when she was asked if a spot was available for her as an alternate, would she take it? And this is what she said.
Yeah, I think it would be a great opportunity. A lot of ifs. So, like, you know, my main focus is on the fever. Like, that's what it is. If USA Basketball needs something, you know, I have a great relationship with them, but the 12 they have selected are really, really great players. So I think they're in pretty good hands. A great coach, Joe's a great coach. Selection committee did a really good job. So yeah, just focus on the fever and what we can do to be better.
At the end of the day, I hope WNBA players start to embrace her and understand that they're all eating because of her. I hope that their pettiness doesn't get in the way of the WNBA flourishing, because they pretty much found their first star. They found their Michael Jordan, at least in terms of star power, not in terms of achievement on the basketball court. They found a person that's a big enough draw that is causing fans to watch her play. And probably my favorite part about this is she's even taken a Michael Jordan-like approach to this situation, saying, hey coach, they woke a monster. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this latest news? I'm gonna make sure to keep you guys up to date on the WNBA. It's probably my favorite new type of content to cover. I'm personally really excited to continue bringing you guys WNBA content, but if you missed what happened last week with a player literally assaulting Caitlin Clark. I highly recommend you go check it out. I'll leave it in the end screen and I'll see you guys there. I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until that upload.